Yeah, we talk grind, we talk gold, street hustle, rhythm control, ideas cooking flame on high. No shortcuts, just do or die. 86 opinions, both precision, no permission. We build a vision, we rise, we move, we own this lane. 86 opinions, remember the name. Real talk, no filters needed. If it's raw truth, we feed it.
All right, we are here today. We've got an amazing guest lined up on 86 Opinions. For those of you that don't know anything about Court Allam, Court Allam is what I would probably classify as a restaurant marketing guru. He's a little bit more humble and likes to consider himself what he thinks as the head coach of some marketing for restaurants around the Kansas City area. He is very active on all social media channels. He's got a Go Explore Local where he highlights lots of restaurant and food trucks, and he also does Restaurant Marketing University, where he considers himself the head coach and kind of gets restaurants pointed in the right direction. So without further ado, Court, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to the 86 Opinions podcast.
I'm excited. One of the first guests, you're getting this launched, so I'm excited to be here and talk some restaurant marketing.
Yeah, so I got to throw this out there real quick, too. I know you know this. You and I have had conversations offline, but just for everybody else listening, Court is one of the people that I've really looked up to in the last handful of years of guiding my transition out of the operational side of the restaurant world into much more of the marketing side, which wound up being much more of an amazing fit for myself, my family, my mentality, and everything that I do. I'll never leave the industry, but again, Court, I just want to thank you in public for the role that you had in my life of taking that leap of faith when I was on my way out of the operational side of the industry. So thank you.
Yeah, that's very kind. I think we met 2021 or so. So it's been 4 or 5 years. And yeah. I am loving everything you're doing and you post. And something I always talk about is taking imperfect action, like getting out there and taking action. And you have taken so much massive action. And so congratulations to you. And I'm excited to be here on the podcast.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and just dive right in with some of these questions because I know you're a wealth of knowledge for restaurants and food trucks alike, and I don't want to waste any of that time that we have. So getting into kind of what's going on in the industry right now, what is kind of your take on the state of restaurant marketing currently in 2025? Because a lot's changed just since we've met each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much opportunity to get in front of people today. And one of the biggest things that I don't think enough restaurants take advantage of is what people call user-generated content, UGC. Whether or not you're having your customers do videos and photos that they're posting to their social media, or working with influencers, to come in and promote their restaurants. And I think that is such an untapped place because, 20, 30 years ago, restaurants would market on TV, radio, newspaper, where I would call that like spray and pray. You're putting out an ad and you put it out there and, however many people see it, but you're like, are those people your ideal customers? Are they actually people that would come into your restaurant? And these influencers can come in and do a 20-second TikTok or Instagram reel. And it's not super duper polished. It's like raw and real. But they have a following of ideal like foodies in your community, people that want to support local restaurants. They're looking for new places to go. And, if restaurants really lean into that and partnering with influencers, because I think there's a big untapped opportunity right there for restaurants to get in front of more people. And it doesn't have to cost as much as what it used to be with TV and radio.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And I think also on the influencer, there's such an abundance of them now. It's, in the last handful of years, even everybody that goes out to eat wants to be a foodie critic on social media now, whether that's their main channel or I'm just, I'm an auto body mechanic, but I'm going out to eat and I'm going to show everybody what I went out to eat, right? I think that's an amazing opportunity for restaurants. I've noticed, in fact, I was talking to a fairly influential influencer here in Michigan last night, and I've kind of started to notice a little bit of back and forth between restaurants and some of the influencer community on whether or not these influencers should get free food. Should they be paying for their food? Should they Should the restaurants be paying them for their time? What type of gig is this? So what is your take on that aspect of the whole thing?
I mean, great question. A lot of them, when they start out, influencers are working for free food. I mean, and that's kind of the thing. Hey, I'll do a video in exchange for meal for two, and you might provide a gift card. And I think for a lot of like what some people call like micro influencers, which is like if you have a following of under like 5,000 people, I think that's a really good thing. And, $100, if you could pay somebody $100, that's a lot more better ROI than a newspaper ad. Now a bigger influencer that maybe has 10,000 or more, and I'll ask you, Dave Portnoy, you're familiar with the one bite pizza reviews that he does, right? How much, if you were a restaurant owner, would you pay for Dave Portnoy to come in and do a pizza review at your restaurant?
Absolutely. Oh, thousands.
Yeah, a lot of money. It really depends on who the influencer is and what kind of audience and following they have. We've worked with restaurants where they have people that come in and do like those food challenges where they'll eat like a giant pizza or whatever, and that brings eyeballs. And so, I really just think finding opportunities, how can you get in front of your ideal customers? Because it's kind of, as word of mouth is one of the best marketing things you can do, right?
It will be for restaurants.
People telling their friends, and these influencers, people trust them. And they're like, oh yeah, I know she goes out and she goes to really good places and I trust what she says. And it's just a big trust thing. It's, helping you spread word of mouth really quickly.
Yes. And I think it's important for restaurant owners to understand that word of mouth, that's always going to be the biggest opportunity for restaurants. No, I don't think that anybody's trying to take that away from the industry. The fact of the matter just lies that our word of mouth is spread differently now. Instead of being out at the bar, you and I and three other buddies hanging around talking about the burger we ate, we're reaching thousands of people with our word of mouth online. It hasn't changed. The delivery is just different, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why it's important as a restaurant to have experiences, things happening in the restaurant where people would want to get out their phone and hit record and take a picture. You bring some obnoxious appetizer out that's like just obnoxious, right? That the whole restaurant turns and looks at it, and people are going to want to get out their phones, and then they're going to post it. They're going to tag you, and all their friends are going to be like, what the heck is that? Where were you? And that helps spread the word. So I think having some things that you do at your restaurant that are like Instagrammable.
Yeah.
Like what are things that you can create that would make people want to spread the word?
Even something as simple as just having a backdrop where a family can take a picture, right? That's it. I love that because I pat myself on the back here, I guess, for a second. When I had my barbecue restaurant, that's one of the things that we had is we had a framed wanted poster, and it had, it was wanted $10,000 reward for putting ketchup on brisket, and it was last seen at Blue Country Barbecue, 20 East Remus Road, Mount Pleasant, Michigan. And the amount of people that would just put themselves behind that and take a picture on a wanted poster was gold to us as a small little takeout restaurant that really didn't know how to tap into the influencer UGC market at the time, right? We're talking 2018, 2019. So that was tremendous for us. I love that concept. With that, with the way that the word of mouth is now spreading, being online and kind of online in the automation world, taking over our daily lives in everything that we do, how do you see marketing automations and new platforms and really just automations and tech changing the game for restaurants?
Yeah. I mean, it's really about data and collecting data. It's so important because you can make so many data-driven decisions. And one of the first things to do is capturing customer information, capturing their name, email, phone number, birthday. Are they a parent? And you can do that different ways, whether it's a QR code on the table when somebody comes in where you're encouraging them to sign up. And then, or like before they come in, maybe you have an offer, come in and get a buy one, get one burger. But you're capturing that information because then you can get them into these marketing automations. Because Once you get, the goal is, you think of it like a sales funnel. It's a sales funnel. You got to start up here with awareness. People have to know that you're aware. You're a thing, right? And then you got to get them to consider, okay, maybe I'll come in. What is this place? And that's where you can do things like you can have some automated email sequences that go out to people that say, hey, we've got this, Mother's Day special coming up, right? That bring in mom and we have a buffet. And then you get down to your really good people, the people that come in more often, and they can get into a different automation. When they come in, they get an email that says, how'd we do? Leave us a review, and you can kind of track people through that customer journey of them not knowing about you to coming in and being a loyal fan. And a lot of automation is done for you. And you could get really sophisticated with it, or it could be simple as like using a MailChimp. To do that.
Keep it simple. I think that's important for restaurants when they're first starting out, because one of the biggest things that I notice when talking with a lot of restaurant owners is there's just too much noise. There's so much noise. Restaurant owners are so busy wearing so many different hats that they're not really sure what noise they should be listening to or paying attention to and what noise they shouldn't. And they've got about this much time to try something. And if it doesn't work in a week or two, that must not be where I need to spend my time.
Yeah.
And with these automations and AI, I think it's important to that people understand, like, this is not just going to automate and just take over the entire process. You still have to have that human element of the strategy in implementing the systems behind it. Otherwise, it is just a paperweight. And if you don't know how to utilize that correctly, that's what it's going to be for you and your business. I know you are really big into loyalty programs. I hear you talk about customer loyalty in the digital age. So how can customers use just a very simple loyalty program to help drive some of the stuff you're talking about, and at the same time help drown out some of that noise that's just so confusing?
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of different loyalty programs out there, but at the core, what you're doing is you're putting out, I call it like a hook offer. It's like you're fishing. You put out a hook offer and you say, hey, sign up for our loyalty program and get a buy one, get one burger on your next thing. And so you're putting out that bait. Wherever you put out the bait, whether it's on social media, whether it's on mailers that you send out, wherever it is, you have some type of form that people fill it out, right? And then you give them a way to redeem the offer, okay? And however that is, you can keep it very simple. But then the idea is, okay, now you're growing this database of customers, and these are your customers that, and you can track where they are on the buying journey. If they've never been in before, if they have been in, but maybe they haven't been in a while. And you can send emails to those people. Hey, come back in. And you can send a different email to those people. Loyalty programs, there's so many different ones. We used to always kind of do that model. And something that we saw a couple years ago that intrigued us was Panera. And they have a unlimited coffee club. Are you familiar with that?
I am. In fact, we have a local independent coffee cafe, I guess you would call it, here in Michigan that just adopted that same exact thing, and I love it.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, the idea is it's a membership, and people pay $11 a month to Panera, and they get unlimited coffee, soda, tea, lemonade, and they have over 1 million people paying $11 a month for coffee. And they report visits. People are coming back more often, and we were like, what if there was a way where, because owners told us, these loyalty programs, we're giving away food all the time. We feel like sometimes it just brings in coupon seekers. We hear that a lot with these traditional loyalty programs. And so that's where we kind of had the brainstorm of building out a way where merchants could have a membership, where people pay kind of like a gym membership to get exclusive offers and experiences. It works kind of like a digital punch card. It's our Go Explore Local platform, and it's been a really good way. There's one pizza shop we're working with. They have a $300 and a $1,200 membership, and it's for a year. And they've sold $30,000 in memberships in the last 6 months. And they're using it to buy a new pizza oven. So it's kind of just a new revenue model, a new way that kind of ties in loyalty, but for your best customers, the people you want coming back more often.
And I think that's that should be the main focus of a lot of these independent restaurants. All of them. I shouldn't even say a lot of them. All of them. All of them should be focused, because reality of the matter is this: is that when you own a restaurant or food truck, your customer base, your best customer base, is within 5 to 10 miles of your front door. Outside of that 5 to 10 miles of the front door, you start getting back to what you classified as that spray and pray type of stuff. And if you truly take care of those core customers within 5 to 10 miles of your store, they're going to tell other people about you that they know will like you and come see you. They become this voice that you didn't have before. They become your cheerleaders on the sideline, right? Telling everybody, hey, go to... I'll shout them out. The one that took over, go to Ignite Donuts. They have this free coffee thing, and you can pay X amount of dollars per month and get coffee. In niching down to take care of those core customers, in my opinion, is an extremely, extremely important stance for restaurants these days.
Yep. It's a lot less expensive to get your best customers coming back than to get a new butt in the seat, right?
Yeah, especially if they're outside of that 10-mile radius. Most of us in today's world, I'm a little different. I'll drive 3 hours for a new restaurant or food truck, but a lot of people...
Holy cow, 3 hours?
I'm insane. I'm insane. But a lot of people, you get home from work in the evening, and whatever the case may be, you don't feel like driving 30 minutes one way to go try a new taco joint or whatever it may be, right? So you have to focus on that 5 to 10 mile radius. And I think that really comes into play also, and we'll probably touch on it a little bit in this next kind of topic that I'm going to lead us into: balancing your content creation with your ad strategy. You ask any restaurant out there, they'll tell you that ads just don't work. I shouldn't say any. There's a lot of them that are very successful with ads. Ads are very important in the restaurant industry, but restaurant owners, without the aptitude or the knowledge of really being able to implement them effectively, what's your stance on organic versus paid media for restaurants, especially when we've talked about niching down to that 5 to 10 mile radius?
Yeah, great question. Marketing is a marathon and not a race. And I think a lot of people that I chat with think like, oh, we're just going to, post some things and have some overnight success, and it's not. It's staying consistent. It's staying consistent with posting. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to post every day, but posting 3 times a week, at least, when people are checking you out, there's some life on your page and you're posting. And, if an owner's like, well, I don't know what to post, go chat with your staff and get your staff involved. If you've got a young staff, they probably will do a better job of making, whether it's reels, TikToks, they'll know the dances, the trending things. Like, let them take it and run with it. Let them make it their own. I've talked to lots of restaurants that say they have staff that are doing fun videos, wearing their merch and such, but on their own personal and not the restaurants. And I'm like, take advantage. You got a content creator right there. Let them go with it. And I've seen several do it that are really, really rocking it. And I think that, that's free posting. Ads, yes. I mean, you need to get in front of new eyeballs. You need butts in seats. Where do you want to put your money kind of comes down to where do your ideal customers hang out? Like, where are they? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? Are they on, where are they?
And that specifically, sorry to cut you, I just want to touch on that. That specifically comes down to your brand and your customer avatar. Everybody's going to be different on that aspect, right?
Yep. I 1,000%. I've chatted with a restaurant the other day, and they've got an older crowd, and their crowd is mostly 40s and 50s and up, and probably, more our age.
Right.
Facebook. They tell me Facebook is where their people are. You go to some of these more trendy restaurants, Instagram, TikTok is where they are. And I'm curious what you think. TikTok, I see it more not regional. Not like when I'm on TikTok, and I guess I do some, and I'm curious what you think. Like, I don't see so much just like Kansas City restaurants. I see restaurants across the country. Whereas more on Instagram, I see more Kansas City focus because that's where I live. I'm curious, what do you see on?
I see the exact same. And what I tell restaurants, the best playbook for TikTok that I feel is that I kind of TikTok's a gold mine for content and getting it out there and what's going to resonate with people as a whole, right? So I think for most restaurants, you can get away with Facebook and Instagram specifically. You're going to drive good local traffic no matter which one. Using both of those, you're going to drive decent local traffic, right? TikTok really throws in that virality effect, right? Every restaurant wants to go viral. Everybody wants that post that hits 1 million views. But I don't know that all restaurant owners understand what that means. It's great to go viral. It's amazing to go viral, right? But if I live in Kansas City, Missouri, and I go viral and everybody in California is sharing my post, that does really mean absolutely no good as far as bringing money in the door, right? Butts in the seats, as I like to hear you classify it a lot of times, right? And I love that saying. It doesn't do that for me. So what I like restaurants to do on TikTok is to chase those that's where you chase the viral trends, right? That's where you really try to hit that virality. And if you have an average viewing of 200 to 300 viewers on every single video that you put out on TikTok, and then all of a sudden you put a video out and you might get, even if it's only 10 to 20,000 viewers, heck, even 200 to 300 viewers, that's a lot of people watching your little video for whatever little cafe you have, right? If you live in a town of 3,000, that's 10% of your community that you've just reached if it was in the local community. When TikTok takes that virality factor and starts shooting you out because it's an interest-based algorithm, and probably, in my opinion, the best interest-based algorithm out of all the platforms, that tells me something as a restaurant owner is that video that we just created for some reason resonated with people. So now let's take that video, that message, that exact same thing, format it for Facebook and TikTok, and that's the video that I'm going to put $300, $10 a day into my 5 to 10 mile local radius, because for whatever reason that viral video resonated with people already. I know it should resonate with my community. Now I'm not just blindly throwing ads at the wall hoping that they stick, right? I've already got some data that should take off for me. And we've seen a lot of success with that.
I think that's great. Using it as like a testing ground, looking at stats, looking at how long are people watching it. I think that's great. Yeah. And one that I don't want people to forget about is Google Business Profile. They now have a social media posting kind of component. There's not like a news feed where you see them all like Facebook, but you can post pictures. I don't think you can do videos to your Google Business Profile so people can see posts. And that's something that Google likes, right? And, when you're talking about building up your SEO, getting ranked higher where people searching for pizza near me, posting to Google. So that is another place that can get you some free kind of uplift of SEO. So
and with the drive of AI, I don't want to classify Google as more important than any other ones, but I think it's very, I agree with you that it's very much overlooked, because when a lot of, I don't want to put a number on it because I'm not really familiar if it's 50%, 40%, 60%, it doesn't matter what the percentage is, it's growing by the day of people that are actually using AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity to search for what they want to do and where they want to eat without even going to a Google search engine. So Google is still the first place that AI is going to say, hey, let me go onto Google and see what people know about Court's Tacos before I send somebody there. So I tell people all the time, you've probably seen a huge shift in our content over this past summer because we sat down and we said, hey, you know what? this AI wave is coming. We need to start figuring out what AI is looking for when we ask it a question, and we need to make sure that our business hits those wickets. My content that I'm putting out might not necessarily be for Court Allam's restaurant to contact me. I'm putting out a lot of content right now so that AI will pick me up when Court goes there and says, hey, how should I be marketing my restaurant? I want to become that source of authority. And that's what Google, in my opinion, that's what Google Business is really, really, really knocking it out of the park for restaurants right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I was chatting with another marketer the other day, and there's this whole world of integrating your marketing into like things like ChatGPT. I mean, it can't be that much longer until we see sponsored things in ChatGPT, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
hey, ChatGPT, tell me the best pizza places, and there will be sponsored. I mean, they got to make money somehow. They're losing buttloads of money right now. And, I think restaurants need to be prepared for that. A while back, lots of people were doing it with their Alexa, as mine's going to go off, Alexa, where you're getting involved in search results for that. So all those things are important. Mm-hmm. Those are
and
things
as time
I
goes
probably
on,
need to learn more about. Go ahead.
The importance of brand behind restaurants right now, because as time goes on, there's a huge difference of me looking over at that Alexa, which is now, AI, and asking AI and saying, hey, I want to order a pizza tonight for dinner versus, hey, I want to order pizza from Court's Pizza Place. And if you don't have that top of mind and brand, you're hoping that AI is going to recommend you through SEO and everything like that. But the capability is going to be there. I firmly believe this, that the capability is going to be there for me to just say, hey, order me a large pizza from Court's and I want it here at 7:00.
That's going to be that easy. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you've kind of already touched a little bit on this, but what are some of the mistakes to avoid right now in the marketing world?
Just
Where
in the
are
marketing
people spending too much time?
Yeah. So one is focusing too much of your social media on just the food. And I know that seems kind of counterintuitive because you're like, we're a restaurant. We should be just showing the food. I would contend that it's more important to show the people that are at the restaurant, that are making it go. People want to support people, right? And if you can do things to, showcase your staff, I have a easy I call it my 3 Ps, things you can post about if you don't know what to post. 3 Ps, people, product, process.
Yes.
So, and the process
Marcus
is
Lemonis guidebook.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You ever heard Marcus Lemonis?
Yeah. And that's where that's where I borrowed the idea from.
Yeah,
people, product,
absolutely.
process. But, and the process one is what people love. Show us behind the scenes of like making the pizza, tossing the pizza in the air. And it's your people, it's your food. And so that's something that I always talk to restaurants about is, instead of just focusing so much on the food, show us the people. And I know there's a lot of, I'll save that. But yeah, focusing on the food, building that user database, as we mentioned, you don't think about, a lot of restaurants during the pandemic were like, how do we get people in here? Like, what do we do? Like, our place is empty. And I would say, well, do you have an email list? Do you have a way of contacting people? No, we've never had to do that. And so having some type of email list that you're utilizing. And that's another thing. I talked to a lot of restaurants. I'm like, do you have an email list? Oh yeah, we have like 10,000 emails. Have you ever used that? No, we don't really know what to do with it. Yeah. So, that's another mistake I see. They've been capturing it in their POS or their online ordering or somewhere.
Yeah.
Paper and pencil. I've had some there on paper and pencil.
They have a gold mine. They have a gold mine at their fingertips and they don't even know it, right?
Yep. So I think that's another mistake I see.
Sure.
So, yep.
Sure. I put out a piece of content. I don't know if you've seen this a while back. I put out a piece of content about whenever I go to a restaurant now, I sign up. I don't care what I don't even care. You might just be saying like, hey, do you want your receipt text message to you? I sign up. I give you my email. I give you my phone number. If you ask for it, if you could ask for it and tell me that you're going to drain my bank account at the restaurant POS, and I'm going to sign up for it just to see if you actually take action on it. And I eat out a lot. I go a lot of places. I have 2 places that ever send me text messages or emails. One of them is Big Boy, which is a chain, which is they're not going to get me back unless I'm just happen to be driving by anyway. And the other one is a little Sweetwater coffee shop that they send me a text message like once or twice a month that says, "Hey, we're still here. We've got a new coffee out.
Yep.
See you soon."
Yep.
And out of all the I would venture to say I'm easily a part of 60 to 75 different. They have my information at least, and I get messages from 2 of them. So I love that you touched on that.
I think that's great. And that's the thing as a restaurant owner, if you go sign up for one and you get some things, you could borrow some ideas from it,
Yes,
from what they're doing.
That is actually why I started it, to be honest with you. After you and I met back in 2021, that was actually why I started it, because I was the year that I rebranded our restaurant to Sell, I was kind of like, okay, I need to implement this, but I don't know even the first thing or first house. I started signing up to get ideas, and I quickly realized that everybody's taking my information and nobody's giving me ideas. So it's just
it's opportunities. I mean, and I had a thought, but I just lost it. So
yeah, no worries. Hopefully it comes back here in the next couple of minutes. So yeah, I love that. I think that I never really looked at that question myself in that perspective, but I think I would agree with you on that. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes that is the biggest mistake they're doing, is they have the information and they're not utilizing it. Even something as simple as those days where Facebook has crapped out for like 3 to 4 hours and the world goes into a panic. All you got to do is hit another system and say send, and all your followers know that you're open. They know what your specials are. You just reminding them that you're still there. All of it.
Yep. You just that's exactly what I was going to mention. I always talk about the goal is let's get people off of social media, get them off of Facebook, Instagram, into your own database, a spreadsheet, of whether it's in MailChimp or it's something more advanced. But then you own that information. If Facebook could shut you down tomorrow, they could be like, you went against our terms and conditions. They don't really have to give a reason. They could shut you down, and then you just lost all of it. I've had multiple restaurants I know have had this happen where they just and you can't get in touch with someone at Facebook, to like, hey, what happened? I mean, so it's very challenging.
Yes.
So,
very.
Those could go away. Email is not going to go, you're going to be able to own that data. And so that's why that's so important.
Yeah, 100%. And you sparked something in my head. This is kind of off topic from what we're talking, but it's still Facebook and restaurant ads and things of that nature. And all restaurant owners need to know, all small business owners, everybody in the world needs to know that if you're running an ad on Facebook, the downside to it is that you're also opening the floodgates for spammers. And as soon as you start running ads, spammers start inundating you. And it's important for business owners and restaurant owners to just understand that Facebook is never going to text message you from any support team or anybody in the world to say, hey, you violated this, and if you don't fix this in 3 hours, we're shutting you down. They're just going to shut you down. They don't care what the reason was or what it does to you. You violated. They're just shutting you down. So just don't click any of those links. Avoid all that crap at all costs. Because I've seen nightmares happen to restaurants and small businesses alike that have fallen to those.
Me too. Yep, absolutely.
And that's important to remember that this is technology. This is ever evolving. This is evolving by the day. Every day we wake up, something else is outdated and we have something new. And that's just par for the course in the world that we live in, unfortunately, is that scammers and people are going to figure out how to scam the people that are getting scammed. And then when we figure out how to get above that and we put in new technology, they're going to figure out how to scam into that. And it's just a world that as a business owner, you have to traverse now. And with that traversing comes with the implementation of all this stuff as well, because you can't be left behind. So that kind of brings us into what I wanted to ask you next, as far as what is your Court Allam's Restaurant Marketing University Go Explore Local future forecast of where you see the restaurant industry headed in the next 12 to 18 months, specifically as far as marketing is concerned, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're still going to see AI playing a huge role. And I don't think we even have an idea of what the possibilities are. And I think that's a huge part of it. One thing that I think, is just always scary is all this AI, just video. And images and such. I mean, it's getting so good. And I use ChatGPT to help generate posts and such.
Absolutely.
There's a fine line though, because it's not perfect, and sometimes you can tell it's like not, it's so, I think there's like this AI slop. Have you heard that term, AI slop? It's
I
like,
haven't, but I instantly know what you're talking about with that terminology. I like
yep.
that. I'm
And
probably going to steal
so
that from you.
I think that's something that we really need to be aware of, is just because we can do all this AI stuff, like there's still something about being real and being like a person, like we talked about, and not just generating as much AI stuff out there as I can. Like,
Yes.
still showing real people, still showing the real experience, not just AI generated pictures of your burgers, right? And that's not something, that I think AI can replace, is going in and doing videos. Now it will someday. You'll be able to say, hey, I need copy this trending video, and it'll make it for someday, but I think that avoiding the AI slop trap.
Yes.
I think.
I feel like since ChatGPT released that 5.0 model, there's been a lot more AI slop. I feel like it kind of just it threw a wrench in the whole chat. I have more problems in the last few weeks with ChatGPT since it released that deep research. It's not quite there yet. It kind of had a setback. But I think that's kind of expected too. I think, even with restaurants, you try to scale, there's always a setback, right? There's always something that sets you back a little bit. But restaurants will never, there will be some, I mean, Taco Bell, McDonald's, they're already experimenting with complete AI, drive-throughs, blah, blah, blah. The independent, good craft mom and pop's restaurant, I don't see ever being able to be fully replaced with AI. There's just,
You don't think?
but I don't think it'll be fully replaced, because I still think what you're selling as that small community based, you're still selling the experience. You're selling the atmosphere, the vibe, and the experience. But even though that you're going to be selling that atmosphere, vibe, and experience, AI and technology is how you're going to be showing everybody that unique experience, vibe, and atmosphere that you're creating. So I tell people all the time, like, it's never going to replace the entire human element of a restaurant as far as like managing. It could probably make a burger for you. It could probably take the order for you. It can set reservations for you. It can get reviews for you. It can respond to reviews for you. But what it's going to do is, out of the 10 hats that you're wearing as a restaurant owner, you get to hang like 3, 4, even 5 of 6 of them up. So where now you're only doing 30% of the work compared to 70%, and your place is flourishing. I think that's going to be where it falls in more in place with restaurants in the next 12 to 18 months. But it's going to be fun to see. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. And this is just, looking way down the road. I mean, what's a restaurant's biggest expense? Labor.
Sure.
Right? Labor.
Yeah.
And, in 5 to 10 years, can you see, I mean, McDonald's already has a fully automated McDonald's.
Absolutely.
There's no people that work inside this McDonald's.
Robots even something just as small as like robots serving your food.
Yes. That's here in Kansas City. These robots drive around and bring you your food.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of scary, but like, I think people want to go out for an experience. I don't think I'd want to go out and just never have any, like, have just robots all the time.
Sure.
I don't know, but that's where we're headed though. I mean, there's pizza making machines.
It's much more into the fast casual concept for restaurants. There's the dining and the sitting down and me looking through a 7-page menu. There's just so many things that go into that tells us that's not going to be the future. You're still going to be able to have, if your desire is to own and operate a high-end restaurant, you're still going to be able to do that, but you've got to specifically position your brand to be that. When we were kids, eating out once a week was a treat, right? If you got it once a week, more like once a month, right? So if you want that high-end restaurant, I feel like that's going to become somewhat of a special treat that families go. And the fast casual concept of restaurants is where it's at. Restaurants that, even if you're brick and mortar, but you're niching down and you're operating much more like a food truck, so to say, they're having the most success in our area right now up in Michigan for sure. Fast casual is just where it's at.
Interesting.
So I love all of that. So before I get to the last question of the day, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you think is important for restaurant owners or industry owners or anybody, just to kind of hear your thought process on any of this stuff? Or
Man, we've covered a lot. I mean, go ahead and ask your last question because I think I've got an idea on your last question.
okay, all right, let's do it. Typically, or this is where I would ask. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. If people listen to my podcast, they're going to let the cat out of the bag. So typically, I ask restaurant owners in this position, what if you were to go to a frat party, a party, any type of party? What would your brand, as your brand, not as person, as a brand walking in, what would your brand, what type of guest would they be, right? What type of persona does it have? So because you're not a restaurant owner, and I don't really, I ask that because I really want restaurant owners to kind of start thinking about, man, what would my brand look like to a group of people? Because I think that's important for restaurant owners. So for you, I'm going to twist it up a little bit. So it's a little bit of a curveball. What is one overhyped restaurant marketing trend that you would 86 right now not do anymore, and what would you recommend owners do instead?
Overhyped. Overhyped. So I'm going to kind of position this differently. The thing I would say is restaurant not having a plan, not having some kind of game plan for marketing. And it becomes so easy to like not forget about it and to forget about it. Like it becomes a low priority. But it doesn't have to be a lot of work. I mean, having some type of structured game plan, put it on your calendar that you know, okay, the 15th of the month, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to look at what's happening next month. And I'm going to come up with like a game plan of, okay, next month is so let's say it's Halloween in October. Okay, we better make sure, what are we doing to promote things around Halloween? What are we doing to get ready for, the national holidays happening? Because I think a lot of restaurant, let's say you're a pizza shop and you don't realize National Pepperoni Pizza Day is coming up. And that way, there's a lot of restaurants, I think, that are very reactive to, oh my gosh, it's National Pepperoni Pizza Day. I got to get something up real quick today, right? But if you stay ahead of it and you have a game plan, and that's why I think having a plan where things don't sneak up on you. And then, and that's where working with someone like you is so important because you can then take that off their plate, right? And you can help them put those plans in place. And that's something we do with the restaurants we work with is, we kind of plan it out, and the end of the month, we, check with them. Okay, what's happening next month at your restaurant? What are things going to be? What are menu items you want to be pushing? One I was just chatting with, they've got a new mocktail menu coming out that they want to start pushing. Huge. Yeah. So, staying ahead of it and I think is so important. And if restaurants could just do that, plan ahead, stay consistent, lean into the user-generated content, not the AI slop, not the highly professional photos. We didn't even really get into that. Like, I think like highly professional photos don't do as well as like just the raw photos you take with your camera, And so just doing that, having a game plan can really set you up for success.
I love the game plan. I tell restaurant owners all the time, like, even I know we're in September now, but like, dude, it's August. Like, we're not talking about August, September anymore. Like, we're looking at October, November, December, and we always leave space on the calendar because little viral trends or little things that are happening, or, something happens at your restaurant you want to document. Always leave room each week for one or two of those documentations because they're going to come up. But we're not talking about August, September campaigns and what you want to do and what you're going to do for Pepperoni Pizza Day on September 4th. I made that date up, by the way. I don't know if that's when it is, but we're looking to the next quarter. And if you're not planning a quarter ahead, you're hurting yourself. So I love that you use that as an answer, and I think that fits perfectly, man. So thank you for that. So real quick, I know that you offer a social media content calendar, Restaurant Marketing U, Go Explore Local. Specifically, I think you do a lot around the Kansas City area, but go ahead and shout out, plug all your social channels. Where can people get a hold of you if they need anything from you, Court?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Restaurant
Absolutely.
Marketing University. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. That's where we help with the training. And we have our free download. It's a 365-day planner. You get ideas every single day of the year. If you go to rmu-365.com, so that's Restaurant Marketing University, rmu-365.com. You can download it and get ideas. And then, yeah, Go Explore Local is our platform where restaurants can have their own membership program, like the Panera. So if you're interested in that, happy to chat about that as well.
Awesome. And in fact, it just reminded me, actually, I didn't even remember this until you just talked more about your restaurant marketing calendar. That was the first thing that I ever received from you.
Did you?
Yeah, somehow my little podunk barbecue joint in Michigan, I found your restaurant marketing calendar, and I don't remember. It was I don't remember what it was at the time. I don't even want to throw a price out there because I don't remember what, but it was very cheap. It was very affordable. It was every month for the year, and it was just like, wow, let me just check this thing out. And I will tell you, the last year that I had my restaurant, I went through a shoulder surgery. I went through the passing of my father. I went through selling my restaurant. And had it not been for the restaurant marketing calendar that you put out, I would have been all over the place. And I probably still didn't focus on it as much as I should have. But on those days that I came in and I was in a sling and I was dealing with my dad at the hospital and I was talking to somebody about coming in and buying, but I still had to serve all these people, it was just like, let me go to that. Let me see what Court said to do, and let's do it. And that was amazing. So definitely, if you're listening and you're a restaurant owner, go check out that calendar. It will be worth its weight in gold. And Court, again, thank you so much for everything that you're doing for your local restaurants. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come speak to us. This was an awesome opportunity, and if there's not, I wish you all the best in the future, man, and everything that you're doing for you and your family.
Yeah, it's always great to catch up with you and hear about your travels and what you're doing. And this is exciting to have a new podcast for me to add to my list. So